Hello and welcome to Screen Jumper, a series of video essays on the convergence of film and video games. My name is Houillon, and today I want to talk to you about the big one, the massive video I've been wanting to make since I started this series. Here it is, Hitman. Hitman is a game franchise created by Danish devs IO Interactive and published by Square Enix, where you play as the world's deadliest virgin with Down syndrome. Yes, I'm serious. The franchise hero is an enigmatic, elusive professional assassin known only by his number, 47, so named for his extra 47th chromosome, thanks to the genetic cloning experiments that created him to be the perfect contract killer, one without guilt, remorse, or love, one who is tougher, faster, and stronger than anyone else. 47 works for the International Contract Agency, a secretive, shadowy, politically neutral organization of hitmen, assassins, and killers, whose clients are often top government bodies and the wealthy elite around the world, and he is a legend and top earner among their catalog of triggermen. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire 47 himself. Which is what I should have done after seeing the latest Hitman film. Hitman Agent 47, directed by Alexander Bach and starring Rupert Friend as the titular character, released during the tail end of action movie season last year, and despite an estimated $25 million ad campaign and a doubling of its total budget in worldwide intake, it suffered from some of the harshest critical receptions of the entire year. This should feel a lot like déjà vu if you've seen the 2007 Hitman film, directed by Xavier Gens and starring Timothy Olyphant. The budgets and box office sales match up almost exactly. Both are 20th Century Fox films, and both even have the same producer, yet neither were well received by fans or critics. What happened? How could a double-dip effort backed by a major studio with large budgets and a well-loved IP produce such unfavorable results? In my opinion, both movies are yet two more entries in a growing list of video game movies that seem to have fundamental misunderstandings of their source material, supported by corporate interests far removed from the personal enjoyment of the games, and created by writers and directors that are, frankly, too inexperienced to properly execute on the task of adaptation given to them. In other words, for a variety of reasons, the Hitman you're seeing on the silver screen is, in my opinion, not the one you play as on your TV screen.
As you can see, it's quite easy to appear like 47, but what would it take to actually become him? Well, let's take a look at the source material and find out for ourselves.
Hitman released during the rise of the stealth game genre. Thanks to the massive success of 1998's Metal Gear Solid, similar franchises such as Thief, Splinter Cell, and Deus Ex popped up. So did Hitman, with its first game, Codename 47, in 2000. But rather than take the James Bond approach, by featuring a well-trained member of a military organization sent to infiltrate a high-security facility with nifty gadgets to prevent doomsday, Hitman introduced a twist on stealth gameplay with two key concepts, killing for money and social stealth. From the very first game, it's clear to the player that success in Hitman is not just in who you kill, but how you kill them. The player is paid a flat fee for successfully killing a target and escaping, but deducted from that is the price of weapons, ammo, and equipment the player chooses to use each mission, as well as cleanup fees for killing civilians. If you want the biggest paycheck, you learn to use the minimum amount of equipment necessary and to kill only the target and those protecting him. Codename 47 also introduced social stealth as a key component to the Hitman formula. And no, I'm not talking about the magical plot armor wizardry from Assassin's Creed, I'm talking about disguises. After killing an enemy, the player could take their clothes and masquerade as just another one of the goon squad, allowing him access to areas he normally would not have, so long as he behaves. If he draws too much suspicion, he will alert the guards, but he could switch to a different disguise and continue on his merry way. This social stealth mechanic, combined with the low health of the player and the enemy's swarm tactics when alerted, set up an interesting relationship between the player and the enemies. Not only are the enemies targets, but predators who can turn on you instantly. It also taught the player that their actions have consequences. Failure to properly hide a body, or wear the proper disguise, could be punished in a quick death, which, when combined with the inability to save in-game, raises the stakes dramatically for the player. These two concepts, killing for money and social stealth, both serve to inform us about who 47 is. He is the consummate professional when it comes to killing people. He will do whatever it takes to close his contracts, pull whatever tricks he has to get the job done. His MO is to slip into the target's ecosystem unnoticed, kill the target quietly, and leave without a trace. He is capable of holding his own in a full-on firefight, but it's a sign of sloppiness and unprofessional work to even be in that situation. Indeed, going in guns blazing is a very bad idea, and almost impossible to pull off. Although Codename 47 laid the foundation for the entire franchise with a bold new step in the stealth genre, it was a clumsy step nonetheless, which was mostly fixed with 2002's Hitman 2, Silent Assassin, which introduced the reputation system, a report card of sorts at the end of every level that numerated your performance based on how many guards you alerted, what weapons you used, how many non-targets you killed, etc., and gave you a rank, the best being Silent Assassin, the attainment of which would reward you with more weapons. This system further expounded on 47's preferred MO, linking it with 47's reputation as a legendary gun for hire, and even offering prizes to the player for fulfilling that expectation. Hitman contracts happened, which was okay, I guess, but then 2006 gave us what many fans considered to be the high watermark for the series, Hitman Blood Money. Blood Money openly embraced player inventiveness and ingenuity by creating what I referred to as an assassin's playground. Most levels give you merely a list of targets to eliminate, a map, rudimentary intel, and your choice of starting gear. Each level features an exotic, self-contained location with a living, breathing NPC environment in which the player must insert themselves, scout out the area, find their target, figure out a way to kill their target, and attempt to pull off their evil plan, all while avoiding detection. Indeed, thanks to the numerous opportunities to make each kill look like an accident, devising ways to kill the target is a second game unto itself, and Blood Money feels almost like a puzzle game rather than an action game. It's not without its problems, but it achieved a certain level of clever brilliance in letting players off the leash. And then, Hitman Absolution rounded up those players and threw them right back into the pound. After a 6-year wait, thanks to Eidos being acquired by Square Enix, Absolution brought Hitman into modern times with vastly improved graphics, slick presentation, and a simplified control scheme, but choked out the fresh air openness of Blood Money with the confines of a linear gameplay style, and then stashed its body in an armoire. Not to mention that the forced confrontations the game puts the player in, and the constant flood of player help, seriously, look how easy this is, leads one to believe not that they have become the bald button man himself, but that they are merely playing with toy guns while Daddy does the dirty work. Thankfully, all signs point to Hitman 2016 embracing the Assassin's Playground mindset again, just like old times. Good job, IO. Also, there's Hitman Go, which distills the mechanics of Hitman to a board game and nobody cares about it, but it's actually pretty good. Go check it out. Absolution notwithstanding, it baffles me how, despite a well-established identity for 47 in the games, not one, but 2 movies have failed to get it right. Most video games don't even get 1 try, yet Hitman blows it with 2. How could this happen? Maybe we'll get some answers at the scene of the crime. Would you believe me if I said I actually liked Hitman 07? It's true. I was pleasantly surprised by what comparatively is a level-headed, honest approach to committing 47 to celluloid. A misguided approach, but an honest one at that. The film story sees 47 playing a cat-and-mouse game with a dedicated Interpol agent pursuing him after a hit gone wrong leads 47's employers to betray him. Timothy Oliphant pretty much nails it as 47. He does nothing that 47 wouldn't do. Mostly. He's cold, distant, emotionally reserved, antisocial, calculating, deadly, and he always closes his contracts. Yet he is also at times compassionate, and has a soft spot for the female lead, Nika, kinda like Li Ling from the games. Yet he does not fall in love, a pitfall which, in my eyes, would have condemned this movie. It has its problems, a Eurotrash editing style unsuitable for what the games call for, lackluster dialogue, and this stupid ninja fight scene that should have been removed outright.
It's Nerf or nothing.
However, I think it's telling that Roger Ebert, the man who declared video games could never be art, gave Hitman 07 3 stars, saying, "Hitman stands right on the threshold between video games and art." On the wrong side of the threshold, but still, give it credit. The biggest grievance I have against Hitman 07, however, is actually best demonstrated by the reboot, Hitman Agent 47. How do I even begin to dissect this monstrosity? I'll start by saying I don't really have a problem with how Rupert Friend portrayed 47. He's not who we're used to seeing, but as the interviews on the Blu-ray point out, he gave his best effort in portraying the cold, emotionless nature of 47 with but a shred of humanity remaining in him, and I can always respect an honest effort to do justice to that which you don't understand. But poor Rupert, all of that effort gone to waste for a movie so irresponsible with its source material and so poorly executed. Agent 47 is insufferably dull. Despite top billing, 47 is not the star of the movie. It's this girl, Katja Van Dies, who's on a quest to find her father, the creator of the cloning program that created 47. By the way, I hope you really like this exact expression, because it's the only one you'll be seeing for the rest of the movie. She finds out that she is a sister to 47 thanks to the cloning program, pretty sure that's not how it works, and as a result has Spidey sense? In pursuit to stop them is this handsome young man, John Smith. Yeah, really. A member of a rival Hitman corporation called the Syndicate, who has liquid metal subdermal body armor and... You know what? Do you care? Do you really care? I sure as hell don't. The only thing I care about is why 47 is playing second fiddle to a failed replicant. Better give her the Voight-Kampff test. Casting 47 as a support character is the worst thing to happen to this movie. All stakes are lost. All investment a fan might have poured into 47 over the years vanished in an instant. You mean to tell me that I'm supposed to care more about this girl I just met, who's managed to be less thrilling than an untoasted slice of bread, than one of the most badass characters in gaming? A man who, for the purposes of this movie, is an unkillable god? I get plot armor, I really do. But does it have to be so obvious? 47 barely manages to break a sweat. That's not fun or engaging to watch. That extreme is boring too. Where's the challenge? The Hitman games are all about overcoming challenges, pulling off that impossible hit by finding weaknesses in the system, knowing that one slip-up can end your life quickly. Yet in scene after scene in this movie, 47 mows down paintball guy after paintball guy with no problem. Also, he does the hero dive to take a bullet at the end, and literally nothing happens. And must these action scenes be so derivative? Look, it's John Wick, it's James Bond, it's The Matrix, it's The Terminator, it's The Matrix again, it's James Bond again, it's Watchmen, it's the Disney Lights Motors action show, it's John Woo, it's The Matrix yet again? Kung Fu Panda? Is it any wonder then why this movie is so terrible? It's not a Hitman movie. It's a doughy mixture of big-budget action movies molded into human form, stuffed into a suit with a red tie and slapped with a barcode. Utterly predictable, utterly boring, utterly lifeless. This movie is by no means worthy of the Hitman name. At least it looks pretty. I'm at a bit of a loss to explain why the movie is the way it is. The best reasoning I can offer is that 20th Century Fox saw the film as a large financial risk, and so hedged its bets by relying on an advertising campaign as large as the actual filming budget to get tickets sold. One way to ensure the success of an ad campaign is to have highly marketable, attractive imagery to use, and boy does Agent 47 have it in spades. In fact, much of the movie is what I call trailer bait. Scenes or shots that seem to be included merely for the sake of the trailer and other marketing materials. Lest you think I'm giving the other movie a pass, I'm not. Hitman 07 is guilty of this as well. I mean, look at the trailers for these movies. They're being presented as high-octane sexy thrill rides. I hope I don't have to repeat myself here as to why I think this is a wrong decision. Hitman 07, thankfully, has a solid enough film behind the trailer to survive that criticism and even hold its own. Agent 47 has little else besides trailer bait. This shouldn't be a surprise, sadly enough. Want to know why Fox picked first-time director Alexander Bach? He's won several awards for his work, primarily in music videos and advertising. A match made in heaven. I refuse to believe that something like Hitman can't be captured on film, because it's already been done. Hitman 07 has flashes of it, but look at the opening scene of Leon and tell me that doesn't have Hitman written all over it. Les Samurai is a movie about a cold, emotionless assassin that manages to avoid trying to rack up a body count. Both Hitman movies, but especially Agent 47, have fallen victim to corporate interests that have a distrust of their audience, of their creative talent, and of their source material. You know who didn't have that? The authors of the official Hitman novels. Yes, I am that nerdy. They seem to just intuitively get it. Enemy Within includes a hit where 47 decapitates a motorcycle gang member with a well-placed wire across the road, disguises himself as the gang member, infiltrates a barnyard hideout, and attempts to kill his target with poisoned heroin. But his disguise is blown, and the hit turns into a blown-out firefight. 47 gets his man, but kills everyone else in the room as well. That hit could be straight out of a Hitman game. But what really impressed me was how the author describes the aftermath. 47 remarks to the agency what a sloppy job that was, and berates himself for it. He reads in the paper while getting breakfast the next day, "Barnyard Slaughter," a headline describing his botched hit. That's straight out of Blood Money. This all happens naturally and doesn't feel forced in at all. It's plain to see that the author intuitively understood the mechanics of the game and found an elegant way to incorporate them into the story, with respect to the source material and a disregard for marketability. And it's a stronger work for it. If it could be done for books, it could be done for movies. I understand that all movies are expensive risks. We just need enough people who are willing to take the risk because they know it's worth it. However, maybe there is a reason 47 can't be captured on film, or maybe won't. I've gone on and on about who 47 is and why the movies don't get it right. But doing so has made it clear in my mind that the brilliant thing about the Hitman games, that could be ascribed to video games and nothing else, is the power of player choice. The Hitman games are explicitly designed to give the player the choice of who they want to be, how they want to conquer the challenge the game puts before them. Movies can't do that. Each of the Hitman movies presented one possibility for who 47 is. One that was pretty good, and one that was terrible. However, the beauty of the Hitman games, and the 47 character, is that you decide who you want him to be. The game will steer you towards who 47 should be, but he is formed by your choices, one kill at a time. He is anybody you want him to be, so long as you want to kill people for money. And as long as you want to indulge in that fantasy, 47 is the perfect, badass, blank slate to project yourself into. That's what I consider the sign of a great video game character. And maybe it is the case that movies haven't figured out how to capture that yet. And as long as we keep getting more Agent 47s, maybe they never will. For further viewing, I recommend the following. Leon. I will recommend this film until the day I die. It's on Netflix, you have no excuse. The Iceman. Based on a true story about a hitman who killed over 100 people for the mob, this is an unflinching look at the dark side of human nature and what it takes to kill. The Killer. Yep, I'm recommending it again. What happens when a hitman injures an innocent bystander during a hit, takes care of her, and begins to fall in love? Well, it's John Woo, so it's bound to be depressing, as well as contain the best action scenes you've ever watched. Lastly, Les Samurai. If you want to see a more graceful execution of Hitman 07's plot by none other than Melville himself, check this one out. Thank you so much for watching me dork out about Hitman for 20 minutes. If you liked or disliked this video, there are buttons created just for you to use. I'd love to have you as a subscriber if you're not one already. This has been a case study from Saboteur Studios. Thank you for watching.